I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Webb regular meeting. Thanks everyone for coming. Please sign into the attendance sheet and turn off your cell phones. Thank you. The next regular meeting will be on August 12th at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I went out of session, so I'll say it again. The next regular meeting will be on August 12th at 7 p.m. August Audited Claims meeting will be held on the first Monday, August 4th at 5:30 p.m. Executive session may occur this evening if deemed necessary. Do you have any correspondence? I don't have anything this evening.
We have nothing.
Okay. First business we have is a resolution authorizing commencement of action to enforce the town code, Article 480, zoning at 129 Ramona Point Road. Whereas the Town of Webb Code Enforcement Officer has reported to the town board that there exists 3 docks upon the real property known as 129 Ramona Point Road. Tax map ID number 039.37-110.3 property. And whereas the code enforcement officer reports that the Town of Webb Town Code Article 480 zoning allows only 1 dock to be situated upon the property. And whereas the code enforcement officer advises that the additional dock is owned and was placed upon the property by a neighbor who holds an easement holder, to cross the property. And whereas the code enforcement officer advises that the offending dock violates the property boundary setback requirements. It is not the subject of a permit that is required for its placement, and it is not a prior non-conforming use of a contractual access shoreline parcel. And whereas the town code enforcement officer served a notice of violation dated April 28th, 2025, upon the easement holder directing that failure to correct the violation within 30 days may result in further enforcement action. And whereas the violations of the town code have not been remedied as of the date hereof, and whereas section 480-44D.2 of the town code of the Town of Webb provides that the town board may authorize commencement of an action to restrain, correct, or abate a violation of the article. And whereas the town board finds that the dock at 129 Ramona Point, Town of Webb, map ID number 039.337-1-10.3 is violative of Town Code Article 480. Now therefore it be resolved that the board authorizes and directs the town council shall prepare documents for the commence of an action in Supreme Court, Herkimer County, to enforce the town code. And that number 2, upon adoption of this resolution, the town supervisor and town council are authorized to prepare, execute, and deliver such documents and instruments as they are required to implement this resolution without further resolution from the board. Do I have a motion?
I'd make a motion that we go further with this.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Then any board discussion?
We visited the property, saw that the violation was there, talked to the code enforcement officer, and that's where we're at.
All right. We will be asking for punitive damages as well as reimbursements of all costs associated with this. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Notice of a public hearing on proposed variance from the Old Forge Sewer District. Connection moratorium allowing the Old Forge Ambulance Corps to connect to the system. Notice is hereby given that the Webb Town Board will hold a public hearing on August 12th, 2025, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Town of Webb Visitor Center, 3140 State Route 28, Old Forge, New York, concerning a request for a variance from the moratorium prohibiting new connections to the Old Forge sewer system for the Old Forge Ambulance Corps' new headquarter building. Copies of the application for connection are on file in the Town Clerk's office at 3140 State Route 28, Old Forge, New York, and may be reviewed during normal business hours and are also available on the town's website. Please take further notice that all interested parties will be heard at this time on August 12th at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Ben, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Tommy? Board discussion?
Well, this is just a procedure because we did that
Moratorium.
moratorium, and we said that if somebody came along that needed to be hooked up, an ambulance was, at that night, was mentioned anyway, so.
And this is just the procedure to do it legally. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
This is the appointment of trail maintenance working foreman. The board has advertised and conducted interviews for the trail maintenance working foreman, and the board appoints Jeffrey Abriel as a full-time snow trails foreman with benefits effective July 7th, 2025, subject to a 6-month probationary period. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ben, any board discussion?
More great applicants.
Yes,
That
Yeah.
was another tough decision.
it was a hard decision, and I think we picked the right man. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Ski shop and ski school at McCauley Mountain. The board has received a letter from Ted Cristodero stating that he is giving up ski school and the ski shop. He thanked the board for 18 years. As he transitions out, he will be offering the rental and tune shop equipment for sale to the next concessionaire to support a smooth handoff. He wished the town of Webb and the next concessionaire the very best. I would like to personally thank Ted for his many years up there. He taught my grandkids how to ski. Your business has been a valuable part of our community, but I gotta tell you, he's gonna enjoy Florida.
Yeah. He's done a really good job up there.
He has. But he's gonna go to Florida for the winter. I don't blame him. Do I have a motion that the board authorizes the town clerk to advertise and accept bids for the ski shop and ski school at McCauley Mountain? Complete specifications are on file with the town clerk. All bids are to be in the hands of the town clerk on or before 7 p.m. on August 12th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Ben, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Tom? Board discussion.
Well, let's hope we get some good people to apply for that.
Sounds good. If anybody knows, anybody, tell them to look us up here. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. We have a BCA amendment, wastewater collection system improvements. The board has received amendment number 1 to the contract from BCA for additional service to continue with funding for the collection system for the sewer system. This amendment amount is $20,500. $5,000 will be for the 2025 WIA application, and $15,500 is for prior funding assistance for NBRC 2024 WIA and IUP listing updates. It's a motion, do I have a motion to amend the contract with BCA with amendment number 1 for $20,500?
I'll make a motion.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ben, board discussion.
So does this take effect immediately, or is that
Yes.
like a scheduled?
Yes, and I do have something to announce. That Corey has helped us with the Northern Border Regional Commission grant, and we were awarded $485,000 for our collection system. So now Corey will go after the WIA grant for over $6 million to finish the collection system. It has to get finished. We have to finish it. Right?
We're working on it. Slowly working on it.
Any other board discussion on this? Do I have a roll call vote, please, Nancy?
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
We have a highway appointment this evening. On recommendation of our highway superintendent, Casey Crowfoot, to appoint Russell Hutchins as a full-time highway MEO effective 6/30/2025, subject to a 6-month probationary period. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
On board discussion? I've met Russell. He seems like a really nice man, and I think he's gonna work out pretty well. Seems like a hard
A lot
worker.
of people stepping up to the plate for that either.
We should know. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
All right.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
DPW appointment. On recommendation of our DPW Superintendent Scott Gaffney, to appoint Dustin Reese as a DPW McCauley Mountain full-time employee with benefits effective 7/7/2025, subject to a 6-month probationary period. So just to explain to everybody, DPW/McCauley Mountain, they work for the DPW in the summer, and at McCauley, when it gets busy, they go up there and work. So they have a full-time year-round job. They're just split between two departments. Any board discussion?
I'll make a motion to appoint.
Oh, sorry, motion, sorry. Tom, second.
I'll second him.
Ben, I thought I had done that already. Any board discussion on that?
I think you nailed it. Nope.
Another man I met, very hard worker. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
All right.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
One more appointment. We have a police appointment to appoint Tyler Kilmer, effective June 30th, 2025, as a full-time police officer with benefits. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Ben, second?
I'll second it.
Sorry, Mike, no,
Mike?
Mike.
Yep.
I didn't get it.
Board discussion?
Seems like another solid addition, yeah.
Yep, this brings us up to 7 full-time officers with our chief and 4 part-time.
And I believe with all these appointments, we have in the budget that we did last year. whatever,
Yes.
that we
This is all
did
budgeted
budget
for,
all that
yes.
stuff, for all these appointments.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah.
Aye.
Councilman Greco.
Aye.
Councilman Ross.
Right.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Okay, now it's off to us. I think I'm gonna go first if you guys don't mind. So I would like to talk about, I told you about the northern border. Corey Reed will be coming up here on the 17th at 10 o'clock. If anybody would like to meet with him on the next steps that we're taking on the sewer system. So that's the 17th at 10 o'clock. The Antique Boat Show is this weekend. I've gone to that a few times. It's really a nice event. They have great vendors and the boats are really neat. The boats are very neat. I encourage you to go check it out. I guess we need to talk about school usage of the GTH building. I have some information here. The departments that take care of this building, this is just a little info, are the recreation, the DPW, the wastewater treatment plant, snowmobile, and cleaning crew. We supply the lights, the bathrooms, and the soccer field at no cost to the school. The school pays for McCauley Mountain passes, but not a full amount. We give them a deal so the kids can ski, which is a good deal.
Right.
I think that the school should be paying some money for the George T. Hildebrandt building because of the heat situation that we have there, the light situation, the cleaning of the building. We do have an agreement with the school right now that we pay, that was written in 2023. We pay $50 an hour for a mechanic, and we pay $60 an hour for bus use. All of the supplies are at cost. So I just want to know how you guys feel about this.
I mean, I'll start. I'm pretty biased on this one. You know, for the record, I'm a coach. I'm a winter sports coach over there at the high school. And it's such an asset to have that recreation center. And we talked about it last night at the Monday meeting with the amount of band, chorus, any sort of events, the play and all that stuff that happened over the winter at our small school with that small gym. And then when 7th and 8th grade sports start up in January, there's even less time in there, and it's such a blessing to have that rec center for sure. But the heat, you know, has shown some cost. I think there's ways around that. I do know last year, as it was going along, we kind of all talked, all involved, that there was enough programs in there that we should just leave the heat on, because there was town programs mixed with after school programs. The school uses it from 3 to 4:30. They asked for October to April. It really doesn't start until the middle of November, and it doesn't go until, and it goes to like the end of February. So that part kind of stinks that they reserve it for longer than they have to. And then if there's games and stuff, nobody's in there. So it holds it up a little bit. So there's ways around that, but asking for money for, I guess, a building that we own, that we're also using as the town, as I think is just a very weird. It's
Well, we pay for mechanics and bus uses.
no, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
I don't have the answer.
Okay, gotcha, I gotcha.
I really don't
Yes, I
know
understand that.
what that amount could be. I don't think half is fair. Of the heating bill I'm talking about, that's the biggest thing we're discussing right now. People that use the recreation center, Snowdio and other events, they pay for their portion of it. So I really don't know what the answer is. I'm just in favor of whatever can keep these kids busy indoors at times when needed. In the it was a long, cold, dark winter. But maybe we can start throwing out some numbers at the school. I don't know if that's been done yet. If we could discuss, like, would you be willing to throw a certain amount to help us with the heat cost? I think that's a starting point.
That was brought up, but correct? And they were not interested in paying.
It's kind of a two-part question. First, we need to answer, do we think they should be paying? And the second part of it would be, how much? If we say they should be.
I mean, I think they should pay a reasonable amount, nothing too crazy. A lot cheaper than building a space for them. It wasn't work out, so.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Webb Schools pays $50 per day for their scheduled usage of the George T. Hildebrandt building from January 1 to December 31st. This agreement would be looked at every 2 years. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I'll make a motion.
Mike, do I have a second?
I'll second. So,
Ben?
so January 1st.
every time they use it.
Just what, Hannah's got a schedule that says the days.
Every time they
all the
schedule
things that are
use it,
scheduled.
it would be a $50 fee.
And that would take place, that would start January 1st. So it wouldn't,
Now the
No, it's gonna
October,
start now, after our resolution.
basically October.
I don't know if it could start now, because you just said January 1st. Right, or,
But this is a motion that comes, these
say
are the
take-
dates,
We can add take effect now if you want.
and it's effective now.
okay. Oh, okay, so you just want to be, okay, I misheard
Right.
the year there.
So some of this also has to do with the floor that's in there. If I'm not mistaken, when we put that floor in, it was said that when that gets used, that it by rights should stay at a certain temperature for
Absolutely.
sustainability and all these things to keep that good. That's why the heat had to stay on pretty much every day at 50-something degrees. Floor's not gonna last
And we're
forever.
using the buildings so much more than we were.
There's a lot of little things. I know I'm in and out of that building.
I did a lot of research on it, the floor. We try to get that pickleball to bounce. We try to do everything we could to get that floor to be, as good as it could be for each use. And it's just like average for all the uses. That's what it is.
Right.
And then we even brought the guy that manufactured it in. Then Hannah went and she gave it her shot after I went through it, the rec manager.
Right.
And you could literally see the floor expand like it's supposed to when there's heat in the building and just crumble when the building's not heated.
When it's cold, yeah.
So I think it's fair for us to say, like, because we're using it, and this is back when karate was a town program, it's not anymore. The use of the building over the winter right now is for events. I think there's some walking in the morning. Is that happening over there? Is that mostly at Park Ave?
Okay.
It's not regular.
Sharp uses it on
Sharp is done there now.
Sharp use it on Wednesdays, but for the most part, it is just the school.
Pretty much everybody that else goes in there pays.
They
Like
do
there's
pay,
And
a
everyone
people
else
pay to
pays.
use it.
Pink Ribbon Riders.
CAA
I can come up with
pays, Pink
CAA,
Ribbon.
anything.
Marathon Mike.
Right. So it's only kind of fair, I guess. I mean, that's,
Any other board discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah?
Aye.
Councilman Greco?
Nay.
That's roomy, hold on. Councilman Ross?
aye.
Supervisor Baker?
Aye,
We've got 3 ayes and 1 nay.
thank you.
I just wanted to do some more thinking on that.
That's fine.
Doesn't matter now, but
That's what we do.
what the actual cost would be at 50 a day, so.
Well, I figure it out for those many months.
It was less money than Mike wanted to charge, which was $10,000, so. I took the easy.
I just
the
throw a
cheaper
number,
way.
throw a number for self,
Yeah,
for a year.
if
But it's probably around, if you
Hopefully
figure it out
they're-
monthly, it's around $7,000.
hopefully they think it's fair and they'll, yeah.
By any means, these are not easy subjects,
No.
No, it's,
not at all. The next one's not either.
building's a very expensive building.
Just an FYI for-
Tell you that.
So the
I
next,
do go back to, when it comes to that part of the expensive building thing, I do think about other things in places that we have here that cost money that we but it is what it is. Things that we provide for our community that, it's definitely nice having that building open, accessible, and heated.
absolutely.
A lot of people that would come in and say that. I know you guys believe that too.
Oh, God, yeah, it's been a great asset to our community.
All right, the next subject is webcams. And I would first like to thank Steve Hoffel for everything he has done over the years to ensure that the town of Webb has had reliable webcams. He had a vision way back when no one else did. And he knew what to do, and he did it. And it's been volunteered his time, his expertise, and all of his own resources. And we can't thank him enough for that. But with that being said, our chief of police and the person who secures our security in our building says that we need to be in charge of our own webcams. There are many things in place for municipalities right now with webcams, and we're not following their suggestions. So our chief and our security guy takes care of the security for the municipality, says we need to do something different. So, go ahead, Roddy, what do you want to talk about? It's another hard one.
What does something different entail?
Us taking over our own webcams, and that we are in charge of them. We know where they're streaming, when they're streaming.
Makes sense.
Equipment.
Our equipment, liability issues, security issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, all liability and security. I do want to thank Steve for everything he's done. It's a lot of work.
You know, the
Appreciate
thing I
it.
find very interesting with this, after doing this for 25 years for the town, for free, at no cost, nobody had the decency to come and ask me to bring it up to what you're looking for. You're just going to throw me under the bus.
No, it's not that at all. It's they want us to be in charge of our
The
webcams.
town has been in charge of the web cameras the whole time they've been there. If somebody asked me to do something, I do it. You, 3 weeks ago, sent me a text, okay? And unplugged my equipment by the company that you had putting security cameras in at the beach. If you would have picked up the phone and said, hey, Steve, we have an issue, we don't want the camera uploaded at the beach, we don't want the camera uploaded at the point, or
And I did get a hold of you and tell you that we unplugged it and then we told you why.
you called me and told me that somebody else was unplugging my equipment.
Correct.
You didn't have the decency to call and ask me to shut it down. Okay, and the thing I find ironic of this too, and I'm guessing you're probably going to contract the company that put these cameras up that you have now,
No, we're not.
but they have a camera running at North Street, looking at the same stuff that mine is. But his camera's still running, but you unplugged mine.
I didn't unplug anything at North Street, so I unplugged over here.
Because I came to you and told you that they unplugged the internet at the farmer's market.
Right, which I didn't know that they had done that. I told you I did not know that that was done.
And I had the decency to even come and tell you that the stuff was turned off when they shut off my cameras. And again, if you're looking for something, why don't you talk to the guy who's been doing it to you for 25 years?
And when the proposal comes through, if you want to put a proposal in, that'd be great. We will be asking for proposals. It's not a handshake anymore, Steve. Times have changed. That was 18 years ago.
That was 27 years.
Okay, 27 years ago. There's nothing on file that we have any agreements or anything, so we need to get this straightened out.
Okay. Well, you do realize that all the cameras that the town's using aren't all in town's locations. I mean, I have cameras all over the town of Webb showing what assets we have for our visitors.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you can ask the landowners or whatever, you can certainly do that.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's on the town property, I think, has been the issue of insurance wise, and if something happened, we're liable. Somebody's liable, and I'm assuming you don't want to be, but.
But where I'm going with this is you're going to hire somebody to put cameras up. They're already there. Where is the logic?
The logic is just the fact that we were told that it has to be changed to be
By who?
legit.
By who? Who told you?
Well, this,
The chief of police, as well as our security,
Who wants to sell you more cameras?
no, iTech does not want to sell us more cameras. He secures our building. We buy cameras from Taz Electronics, someone totally different. So no, it would not be buying cameras from the guy who says our security's not right. We have a third party for cameras. Correct? Am I saying that properly?
this basically came on our plate too, Steve. I mean.
And it wasn't anything we went and looked for.
We knew a lot about this for a long time. It just came up.
So that's the next $1,000 question is, I have a camera on the covered bridge. I got a camera on the lakefront. I have a camera at the base of McCauley Mountain. I have 2 cameras on top of McCauley Mountain, one that pan, tilts, and zoom, and one that's a stationary. I have one at the rec center and one on snowmobile trails. Are we going to lose all these?
I'll have to talk to the attorney and to the chief of police and ask them what they're going to do. My guess
What we
is,
can
yeah,
do.
we're going to buy our own webcams and we're going to live stream or whatever we do. I don't have the right words. Our own.
Right words.
Right.
Said it right.
They want it done in-house. They don't want it done outside. Nothing that I went and said, oh gee,
All right,
let's
so the
look into
next
Steve's
$1,000 question,
cameras.
who you have
I didn't do that.
Has IT and networking experience. I'll put an application for the job. You guys can start.
That's great. When we come to that point, you can put an application in.
Because trust me, nobody's gonna know better than I do.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I apologize if I sound a little testy, but
I don't blame you.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't blame you at all. Honestly, we don't.
We're not thrilled about
I
the
understand it.
situation.
Okay, Mike, you're next.
Oh,
I'm done ruining everybody.
I
you,
guess
Bonnie.
I'm gonna mention a couple things. I was in touch with the department head of McCauley Mountain, and the new pumps, the water pumps, the pump for our snowmaking have been replaced, and the old ones were definitely junk, to say it nicely. So that's gonna be huge improvement, I'm assuming. And of course, the compressors are all new, so we're really getting a lot done for that place, which has been neglected for a long time. They also, a bunch of us went up, they had a chairlift evacuation up there, which was kind of interesting on how to get people off them chairs if we ever had a power outage or something where they're stuck on them, how to get them off of there. That was quite interesting, and it's a little bit time consuming, so if you're stuck on that thing, be prepared. But it was great. He organized that, and they had professionals from, I don't know, Ben, you remember, they were from
Yeah,
the
they're
state and whatever.
all over Syracuse.
Right. Pretty cool to watch. Another thing I wanted to bring up, I'm kind of bummed out about this. That tree that was planted on the Point property, that hopefully someday was gonna grow up and be a big tree, the deer destroyed it last year. And I talked to the people that, Mike Cody, who planted the tree, and he said, unfortunately, that's gonna, the trees will grow fine, but it just kind of made it go a lot slower for a couple years. So I'll keep talking to him and find out what the right thing to do.
Maybe we can fence it off this year
We have to,
so that,
because he said it'll grow, but this just affected it by,
Okay.
it's gonna be tough. The top of it's growing good.
we'll
but
talk
with the
about
deer,
fencing it off then.
well, I'm kind of upset about that.
We got that totem coming in, right?
Yes,
Put that thing up, put some branches on it. We got a Christmas tree.
Right.
some lights on it.
Maybe, yeah, so-
You're not allowed to put lights on it.
How tall is that totem pole anyway?
15 feet.
When is that going in?
Not sure.
Not sure. Yeah.
They got
Been a while.
started.
Yeah.
They got a beam up there and everything.
Cool.
So another thing I have is I have been talking to Scott Gaffney, our DPW department head, about the dumpsters that I've been bringing up at the meetings. And to date, most all of them have been fixed up and are basically safe at this point. There are a
Nice.
few that they're still dealing with, but most of them,
Glad
he
to hear
said,
that.
are, everybody's been really good about it and fixing them up and do what needs to be done. So keep that program going. And the last thing that I have, you guys, is I wanted to start bringing up something about our short-term rentals, and I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I've been talking to Jay a little bit about, in his office, about trying to come up with I don't know what I want to say, a statement about how we're doing with that. And some of it's about the permits that the people paid for, and are they re-upping them? Is there violations, and how the department's dealing with them? Things like that. I just haven't gotten all that information. It's my own fault because I kind of been a little busy lately. Haven't been after it, but I do want to have a report on that. And I don't know, I don't want to throw Jay under the bus at all here, but if you have anything to say on it, Jay,
No, it's not
always on you either. I mean, our office is running flat out right now too. So to get all that information together, what we talked about, I mean, I could give you the basics of numbers, but to give you breakdowns of who's the violations we have, the number of short-term rentals, who's got permits, who doesn't that we're still chasing, it's going to take a little time to get all that together.
Right.
So
Right.
hopefully next week or so we can get together and sit down with that.
I appreciate it. And a lot of people have been asking questions about it, so I think it's time to give some sort of a. But that's all I got, Bonnie. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
I'm just looking at our department here right now, and I just think it's important to give a shout out to every one of them, like McCauley, what they've been through, that whole crew, that whole staff. Kevin up there, the great job he's doing. Publicity, same thing. All the people that are coming here, we saw the madness of last week, and then you go right into the police department and people keeping us safe and keeping things in check. And I thought they did a good job. This is all a new chief, and I think no news is good news with some of that stuff. And DPW, just piles and piles of trash, piles and piles of people at that transfer station. They continue to just I really do get blown away watching them. Keep our town so clean with so many people just going from nobody being here to, 30, 40,000 people being here in a day. Parks and Rec keep busy, Sharp program's active, the highways painting lines and keeping things in check with Case there. We just hired a new snowmobile foreman, which I think is going to be great. A lot of good going with that. Tina, you heard her speak last month. She's got it pretty together in her office, and codes. Jay's here right now. Same thing. There's a lot to combat there with everything. And even the court, they got to deal with the people that maybe do go the wrong way and keep everybody content with everything that's going on around here. So I just think it's an overall thank you. And during the busiest, time of our year, last week was pretty wild, I think. And there's a lot of things that were handled correctly. We had fireworks. There was I guess they were pretty solid, and I just think it's just a job well done around for. I've lived in a lot of places. I've spent every summer of my life up here, and then now I live here year round, and it still blows me away to just not even see a car drive by a month and a half ago to seeing all these streets and all these places just filled with people, and we're able to handle it. I mean, it's really is something special to see. And then that's pretty much all I have for right now. Just keep on keeping on. Yep.
Ben.
Yeah, well, it was a good weekend, busy weekend. Definitely watched the guys getting ready for the fireworks down there. And got a lot of good compliments on the fireworks show. Sorry, Bonnie.
No, we did. I hear it has a lot to do with the humidity, everything in the air.
Yeah,
And that's
that makes
why it
it
really
better.
was the best everything worked out. Yeah, I don't like fireworks, just in case anything.
You didn't get that.
But stopped by the mountain this morning when I was up at the transfer station, and the Sun Kid conveyor is going in and looks good. These guys are working hard at it, so see what happens here. And and last week the mountain bike trail builders pulled in and started working on the trails.
Yep.
Moving forward with that, and that's all I got.
Thank you. Nancy, you're up.
Okay. Two things. We have a friendly reminder, like those. Remind about recycling. Want to remind people not to put their recycling in plastic bags. So your soft pack plastics and recycling bins. We're asking everyone to get a trash can or some kind of dedicated recycling bin. We do have the stickers here to put on it. Don't use bags. It screws up our machine. So please put your recycling in a container with the lid if you can, with the sticker, and they'll pick it up. Avoid the bags. It's causing a problem at the transfer station. We are still looking for zoning and planning board members. We have availability. So if anybody's interested, please contact me and we'll get you hooked up. And we do have the town of Webb is having a strategic planning community input session. They'd like, looks like anybody to join them. Open discussion between the board, the admin, and you, the school and the school community. They receive feedback. Now we'd like to talk to everybody how we can put some plans into action for the future of the town of Webb Union Free School District. It's Wednesday, July 23rd, 12 to 4 at the school library. They are asking to confirm attendance by emailing the school. I do have that information. I don't know, are they advertising this, Diane, on the world?
Yeah, it's on the website.
It's on the website, so please attend, July 23rd at 12 to 4. All I got.
Third, huh?
Thank you. I lost my agenda.
What else you got?
All right, time for the members of assembly. Anyone like to speak? Yes, sir.
Tom Dixon from Ramona Point. On behalf of all of us at Ramona Point, the 8 of us that represent, we're very grateful that you're taking the action this has been going on for 3 years, the violation of the right of way. Most of you have been down and seen it, and we're grateful for your interest. And we're very grateful, and I think you're doing the right thing by trying to get the legal fees back and get the punitive damages on that. So we're very grateful. We'd like to thank the Codes Office. Jay is a great addition to the Codes Office. We're very fortunate to have him. He's been right on top of this since his feet hit the ground, and before him, Andy, and of course, Steve and the gals in there. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting Codes, the ZBA, Planning Board, all these things, all these entities here in town that have been violated by these people. So go get them.
Thank you.
All right, thank
I
you.
appreciate you all being here.
Thanks, Tom.
Anyone else? Yes, Robin.
Hey, Robin, Living ABK. The first is a question. So do we have Wi-Fi at the market
Yes.
site? Okay, so that's still going. We did run out of toilet paper around 2:30-ish, between 2:30 and 3 Friday. So I ran up to Ace because I knew you guys were closed. So I couldn't, there's no one working. So I ran up and got some more toilet paper.
Where, at the Packer Shack?
Yeah.
That bathroom?
I think it was just the ladies' room, but
Okay, we'll make sure it's stocked better.
I'll
Busy
we'll
day.
stock some just for that. That was a very unusual. It was just extreme.
It was 4th of July
July 4th.
weekend.
Right, yeah, it was great.
On July 4th.
It was too.
Yeah.
We ran out of toilet paper too in some spots.
Thanks to Hannah
Take care of
and Kyle and I worked on the Wattis Foundation grant, so that's submitted. It was due on the 30th, but we got it in late last week. I'll have to find out when they expect to make decisions, so hopefully.
Thank you for your help on
Really
that.
soon.
Mhm.
And the mobile and manufactured home replacement program, we had gotten that grant, but it's not enough to do the project, so we're having to apply to the Affordable Housing Corporation for additional funding.
Okay,
When we applied for the grant, we were told that it was gonna be increased, but the governor didn't sign the increase budget, so there's not enough there to do what we wanna do, so we're trying.
and are you able to keep that grant money or no?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
It's a 3-year, you
Oh,
have 3
good.
years.
Good.
So right now, we're submitting a second grant to
Okay.
a different state opportunity to supplement it,
Mhm.
so. But they're,
Our fingers crossed.
yeah.
Thank you.
crossed on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Robin.
Anyone else? Yes, Jamie.
So what am I supposed to do with the cameras that are running now? Am I
Oh.
gonna keep them on, or am I supposed to shut them down?
No, you're gonna keep them on until we decide what the attorney or what the chief would like to do next.
Okay. And then the next question would be, now, since you're just talking about the cameras that I have running for the web cameras, correct?
Webcam, yeah, anything on our buildings.
Okay, well, just a simple question, the system that you just put in for the beach house and stuff, you have a ballpark figure what that cost the town?
Not off, no.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking this is because at McCauley Mountain, last year, they inquired about for security cameras, that they had gone to seminars and stuff, and they were supposed to have, they recommended they have cameras running to observe people getting off the lifts and et cetera, et cetera. So I installed a security camera up there for the town at no cost, whole security system.
Yep.
So am I supposed to take this stuff out too?
We'll let you know as soon as we talk to the attorney and to the chief of police. I don't have that answer, so I'll have to talk to them first.
Commish?
Jamie,
Yes. Greetings from the Board of Fire Commissioners and Town of Webb Fire District. Some of the stuff that's going on up there right now,
We were having issues again with the Rescue 517. We discovered that the axle seals were leaking and actually put oil on the brakes and they needed to be replaced. And the rotors were down to close to 50%. So we put new rotors and new brakes on Rescue 517. It also had they were out with a drill. This is why we drill the trucks and drill them in. You set up a suction line off from the front. We found that they couldn't get a good volume of water. Well, we found that the valve was only opening 3/4 of the way. And it was an electronic valve. And so we had that fixed. We thought we were gonna have to replace the valve, but it ended up just being a switch. So we saved a bunch of money there. Okay. July 2nd, we had our monthly meeting. And we had the graduation of our junior members. It was our first annual graduation ceremony for our junior members. And they turned in their blue helmets, which identifies them as junior members, and were issued yellow helmets. And now they start their year of probationary training. They get to do the cool stuff like starting to drive the trucks, run the pumps, interior firefighting with air packs. This will be all the drills that they'll be doing, and as a matter of fact, they're having a drill tonight.
Jamie, how many did you say graduated?
I think they had 4.
4?
Yeah.
3 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah. They all completed the training program and are graduating from high school, or did graduate from high school. So now when they turn 18, they will become full probationary members.
Amazing.
Okay, on July 3rd, we start training our junior members at 14.
Jamie, you should tell people too that not all houses have junior fire departments.
No.
And it is amazing that Old Forge does that and gets the many that
And
they
we
show up.
get a great
And
deal.
that we have the staff and the people that we have up here. Kudos to the
Old Forge is
on that.
Old Forge is is recognized as having one of the best, if not the best, junior firefighter program in the state. And, that comes right from the Office of Fire Prevention. So
That's cool.
Yes, and the kids are great. They really are interested and dedicated, and I think it's a great program. We're getting them on the right path. Unfortunately, on July 3rd, at about around 1 p.m., we were called out to a very serious MVA involving a motorcycle and an SUV by Route 28 and Hollywood North. We got out real fast. The response was real quick by both fire and ambulance. And LifeNet heard the call and launched the helicopter immediately, even before we called for it. So the helicopter was at the airport when the ambulance got the patient packaged and was able to get him to the airport. The helicopter was already there. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries the next day. So our deepest condolences go out to his family and everyone involved, his friends. Tragic thing. Started on the weekend. Bad taste. July 4th, we had the standby at the Old Forge Station for the fireworks. And the ladies auxiliary and the juniors and the fire department members were selling food. And they had a big crowd. And then on the July 5th, the power lines, we had got power lines down, call up by Dakers. And one of the first ones to respond to the fire station, I was there selling big buck tickets. One of the first one to respond to a fire station was a junior member. Come running across the parking lot, just trucking. She was could hear the siren blowing. She didn't have a radio, didn't know what it was. Come running in and looked at me and I said, "Get your business suit on." So she goes over and gets her turnout gear on and comes back with her blue helmet, and she's standing there and the guys are getting dressed and they're getting in the trucks. And I looked at her and I said, "Get in the truck." And she jumped up and she got to ride in the right-hand seat, the lieutenant's seat in the front, and use the radio, and she did a good job. But yeah, our junior members are really, really dedicated. They try very hard. Okay, let's see what else. Bingo started. We've had our bingo night, actually, last night. We had 190 admissions. So the big night, they're coming, bingo nights are big, and that'll be every Monday night through the summer. Okay. And they're having a department drill tonight, and a commissioners meeting on July 10th at 7 p.m. at the Old Forge Fire Hall. That is open up to the public. Anybody that wants to come can come to a district meeting. It is open to the town, anybody who wants to come. If they have any questions, we'll certainly answer anything, and if we don't have an answer, we'll find out and get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's anybody that has any questions or want to know anything.
Yeah, where's the helicopter come from?
Helicopter comes out of down in the valley. I'm not sure exactly where, but
You talking about?
they're about a 15-20 minute flight from Utica.
Griffiths.
You're somewhere down around that, yeah. And lots of times they'll launch. They monitor all the area fire calls, and they'll launch even before they get called. And we can always turn them back if we don't need them. So, yeah. So,
I want to know, since I live in McKeever, would the Otter Lake Fire Department beat you to a fire in McKeever?
if we have a call down in McKeever or a car accident in the McKeever area, we automatically call out Otter Lake because they can get there quicker. Yes.
Should.
Anyone else?
Mutual aid call.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Linda Wheel. I just want to check in. I know we usually check once a month where the housing zoning report, I know last I knew, was still at the lawyer. Just wondering if there's any updates there.
In the lawyer's hands.
I didn't ask today.
No, Linda did for you.
Linda.
I got it.
Jeez.
I got it.
Linda got it. Somebody's gonna have that. Yes.
Steve Hoffel. Old Forge always has all kind of rumors floating around. And I just recently heard one that possibly Mike Mitchell's project was for sale or is being bought. And the question I have is, in his original, this is going back many years, so who knows, does that project have to stay long-term rental, or could that all be, if somebody bought it up, could they turn into a short-term rental complex?
I don't have any comment on that. It's a private
What I mean as far as.
sale. I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea.
Only thing we remember, only thing I can remember.
I don't think there was any stipulations in that.
He was trying to sell those houses.
Yeah, originally he was going to try to sell them and nobody bought them.
Right.
Now he's renting all of them. But it's just.
Affordability went out the door.
You imagine there's what, 20, 30 houses in there that would get turned into, could be turned into a short-term rental complex.
That's a good question though,
Right.
Yeah, you're looking at it.
I don't think that we have any
I don't have any
authority over any of this.
paper to look at with that. That was, how many years ago was that? Was that
A lot of years.
15 years ago? 10? 10 years ago?
Probably used to, yeah.
So I mean, I remember hearing there were some stipulations with what could be done over there, but
And all I've heard, like you, is rumors. I haven't heard.
I haven't heard of anybody buying it either.
Substantial. Anyone else? Thank you very much. I'd like a motion to pay the audit of claims.
I'll make the motion.
Ben, second.
I'll second it.
Tom, motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Who seconded it?
Me.
Thank you. I didn't know, your voice is sounded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone, for coming. We appreciate it.
That's yours.